You know? No? He is harmless. He's just intimidating. Beautiful. Hey. Break. We'll get us some tape for this. You know, we don't like anything better than taking a brand new motorcycle with temporary tags and throwing it up on the dyno.
I'm gonna take his can.
Oh, I like that.
I do too.
This is my first time seeing the bike, guys. I've seen pictures, but that is actually a very nice looking motorcycle in person, isn't it?
It is. Pictures hadn't done it justice.
No, the pictures really don't. Once you see one, I mean, Kawasaki did a really good job with the overall looks. It still has the Z look, but it's mixed in with some badass H2.
This angle back here really looks good. I love the frame on it.
Yeah, that's nice. They did a nice job with that too, didn't they?
Yeah.
You guys, if you want to look, it's a supercharged bike so it's got to have an inlet. They got a very discreet little green screen here. And over on this side of the bike, you wouldn't really know the difference. I'll tell you what, they made sure that you knew it was supercharged, but there's a whole lot of people that would walk up to this bike and have no idea that it's a supercharged motorcycle.
I love the red underneath here, supercharged on this side. You have to get down and kind of see it, but see if you can tuck up in there.
Oh. Yeah, but you really do have to look. So the turbo housing, the inlet housing, supercharger, well, gear driven turbo, it's all the same. Throw some boost at it. They made it red. It's very subtle. And for those of you who may have seen a video or two before, this is our buddy Dan Millholland from Tennessee.
Hello.
We are longtime Go Fast friends. His boys, Chad and Zach, have ridden various project bikes. Zach back to the BMW.
Yeah, and Chad on the 14.
Chad on the
first one.
His son Chad, 219 on the ZX14, or I mean the he went 219 on the H2 in a mile, and then we rode the bike back.
Yep.
And
his Chad first 14 there to break 200 was on yours.
Oh, that's right. ZX14 at Maxton. Chad broke 200 miles an hour on a stock ZX14 with just bolt-on parts.
And Zach broke 200 on the BMW.
Broke 200 on the BMW. That's right. So we split it up. there, and they both raced. They go back to 600 Super Sport.
Yeah, Chad did officially. Yep.
Yeah, Chad was he was wearing the Kawasaki covers. So anyway, you can see we're in Ohio. It's a beautiful, not spring day, 35 degrees, but we had the opportunity to get with Dan and check out the new ZH2. I got to tell you, I'm really stunned. That is a good looking motorcycle. So should we go for a ride or go straight to the dyno? I got my stuff.
I want to see what it makes.
All right. We will.
I know what a ride's like.
We'll throw it up on the dyno and we'll talk to you. How many miles do you have on it?
Got exactly 500 miles.
Exactly 500 miles, so it's perfect to throw up on the dyno and beat to death and see what we get.
So if you want to ride it.
Well, that's what I mean. I got my gear.
Oh yeah, you're more than welcome.
Why don't I'll go get my gear. It's a little chilly. Roads are cold, but it's okay. Gotta do silly stuff. All right, warm it up, and I'll go get suited up, and then we can chat about what it rides like while we're seeing what it runs like.
See what it rides like.
All right, Dan. You've ridden the bike. I haven't. What do I need to know?
The gearing's lower on it than the SS. It's got 2 more teeth on the rear, so it's got a good snap, especially through mid-range. It'll come up in 3rd gear, 8 top locked in, no problem. So just,
So I can either take your word for it or...
you go find out. I know you're going to go.
All right, first impressions. I really do like the way the bike looks. It's different, but it looks really cool. All right, so what changes have you made to the bike since you got it? You've got a clear tank protector.
Replace the front turn signals.
You replaced the front turn signals. Well, you didn't replace them. You took them off?
No, it's got little side.
Oh, okay. You put some little, put some smaller turn signals on it. All right. So this is how you've been riding it? Full power?
Full power.
Nanny controls off?
Yep.
All right.
It's
tall.
It is tall.
But not crazy. I don't, I'm tippy-toe on some of these things.
The rear is still soft. I left it soft.
You left it soft?
But it is soft.
I can feel that.
Yeah. It's a little soft, strong for my weight.
All right. Well, let's go see what we got. Oh, you know what? Right off the bat, it feels like the Z1000. It has the seating position is very similar. It feels like it wants to do things and wants me to do things that could get myself in trouble, like stand-up circle wheelies. We're going to take it easy here a little bit because got cold tires and boy, Dan was not kidding. You grab a handful on this thing and it's going to go up. And I'm riding it without the Nanny controls on. I don't know that that's such a good idea. We'll throw a little heat into her and just right off the bat see what we're doing. Oh yeah. Holy cow. This thing feels, torque is what your ass feels when you twist the gas. It doesn't feel the horsepower so much. But this thing is a kick in the pants. It's a lot of fun. Just played with the quick shifter there, downshifting. It's very smooth. Kawasaki's doing a great job of getting all those worked out, the bugs. Dan also pulled off the mirrors, which I'm immediately noticing because I like mirrors. I haven't been on a fast bike in a while. And I'll tell you what, I just can't even imagine what this thing's going to be like. Wow. Swing arm extension sails and long swing arm sails, I'm going to predict will be brisk for this bike. Because as it sits right now, even in stock form, I don't know if you heard Dan say, but had a couple teeth off. This thing runs. I'm really impressed. It actually, just the feel of it, and between the wind, there's not a whole lot of wind protection, and the amount of torque that the bike is producing, even at low throttle openings, it actually feels fast, as fast as an H2 or faster. But that's just feel. It's that the torque is what you feel, the horsepower is what's really going to have you moving. Well, I'll tell you what this is like. This is like riding a dirt bike. You know, a 450 4-stroke. It's bordering on 500 2-stroke as far as the wheelies go. But the amount of torque that it's got really makes it a lot of fun. I love Mexico. Wow. And the wheelbase feels short. Not only that, but without the clip-ons, you have a lot of control over the bars. So, personally myself, I would put an aftermarket steering damper on the bike and take a little of that twitch out of there before it even happens. Wow. Try not to get myself in trouble here. And guys, you can't feel it, but I'm not wide open throttle on this bike. I'm not using the quick shifter right now with the K-track off, power in full mode. There's absolutely no doubt that if I bang the quick shifter first to second, I would scratch up the back of my helmet. We'll play with all the rest of the controls later. Right now, I just want to get a feel for what it feels like. And I'll tell you what, it feels very, very fast. Already. Cockpit small. Digital display is really easy to see. And the bike is smooth as glass. I think Kawasaki has a hit on their hands here. We got the quick flash from adding the aftermarket turn signals. Buy a module for that. Second. Third. Yeah, you can feel the front end getting light just rolling on in third. You do have a lot of wind compared to an H2 or an H2SX or even most sport bikes. Just do a little roll on here. Well, so the big question is that I just felt, this thing started to really, really haul ass, and then I won't say it nosed over, but I will say that it didn't pull with the kind of force that it was pulling out initially. And I can tell you from past experience that that's Big Brother. You know, the OEMs have to deal with noise and emission constraints that we don't. Now, granted, it could also be wind drag, because with this little fairing, I do have a lot of pressure on my upper body, but you could feel the difference between when I took off, the instant rush of torque, even, you know, little fifth gear roll on, and the torque drops off. And one of the things that if you've ever ridden one of these Kawasaki Supercharged motors, the torque doesn't drop off. The higher RPM you get, the more torque the bike produces, the more horsepower it produces, and they are stunningly fast. So even though this bike feels fast, we can make it faster.
feels fast.
It does. Well, it is pretty fast. But
And it also feels light. Now granted, we have the longer bars here, so we've got more leverage, but this is all smaller than the H2 and the H2SX. How much lighter does Kawasaki say the bike is?
it's 50 pounds lighter than the SX.
50 pounds lighter.
That's the SX without the bags too.
The SX, then the SX without the bags. What about the wheelbase?
It's 1 inch shorter than the XL.
1 inch shorter.
SX.
You feel that 1 inch shorter.
Yeah.
You definitely feel that gearing also.
Yes. They've done a great job.
It's really, really nice bike, just like it is. I mean, it's a lot of fun.
You know, I'm a Kawasaki guy, and I own a bunch and rode a bunch. That's the most fun bike I've ever ridden.
It reminds me of the Z1000.
Yes.
It's nimble. It makes me think that I'm better than I am, and that I could just yank it up on a wheelie and
It's easy to wheel.
stun it. Not only is it easy to wheelie, it's very difficult not to wheelie. Well, listen, enough talking. We got to put this thing up on the dyno. I'm going to be interested to see the difference in torque, especially the low end torque. Granted, we've got the gearing situation going on here, but you can feel that it really kicks you in the pants.
Yes. Well, the cam timing is a little bit different. Did I tell you that?
Cam timing?
Between the SX and this, I've seen where the cam timing numbers are a little bit different.
And girlfriends who are sitting in the back, you better be prepared for a ride, because this bike, 2 people on it.
You ride it in rain mode.
Yeah, ride it in rain mode. There's a reason that the H2 doesn't have back pegs.
I've been at Bike Week. I don't think there's anything on our dyno.
Oh.
Well, looky there. I came back early. I figured they were going to shut it down because of coronavirus, and they did about, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours after I left. But Dan said, "Hey Brock, why don't you come? He's really anxious to see what the bike's going to do on the dyno. So am I.
In order to get a torque reading, we have to get an RPM reading. So hopefully I can get the OBD2 to work, but if not, we're going to have to see if we can find the spark plug wire. Because I'm more concerned with the torque on this bike than I am the horsepower, and that's the first time I've ever said that when it comes to the sport bikes. I haven't checked yet, but I don't believe anyone has dynoed one of these yet, have they, that you've seen?
No.
Oh, I love being versed at stuff.
Absolutely not. No.
Well, that's awesome. So talk about exclusive content here. Thank you, Dan. Dan and I were just commenting. If you look at this bike from the front, it may look a little bit wider than the SX, but not much, not bulbousy. It actually looks really, really cool. I got to tell you, when I first saw the pictures, you know, go to Kawasaki.com and look around, it's like, that's pretty cool. But in person, it's actually really, really cool. I predict that swing arm extensions and longer swing arm sales will be brisk.
If you're going to ride it very fast.
If you're going to ride it, if you play around, it's good. It's really nice and smooth to ride. Nice bike to just ride around. But if you want to use some of that horsepower, you're going to have to extend it. And if you're going to use the horsepower that I know we're going to make with that,
it's going to have to be a little bit longer.
yeah, it's going to have to be longer if you want to truly use that power, because
It makes good power.
yeah, I tell you what, I told Dan it's a little scary.
Coming from you.
Yeah, I mean, I've ridden some really, really fast motorcycles. This one is short. I don't know how much horsepower it makes, but it'd be a handful with the drag strip as it sits right now. Yeah, I mean, trying to get the gas. See, it was floating the front wheel in third gear.
Yeah.
You know, and I wasn't riding real aggressively. I've been known to wreck a bike or two when they first show up, so that's pretty cool. You know, and it feels light.
It turns in.
They did a great job.
You know, you can tell by the tires. I've had a chance to lean the bike over quite a bit.
Yeah.
And it actually turns in great. It's
Awesome.
very stable.
Because being a long-time drag racer that doesn't live in Tennessee and doesn't have any corners, I may have actually installed some chicken strips for you. But no, look at there.
Yeah, I mean, it's a rock stable bike going. And what's nice about the quick shifter is when you're going through a long sweeper, you don't have to upset things.
Yeah.
You just toe into the shifter and it just
Yeah.
pulls right through. It's a hoot to ride.
Wow. And you know what we've been missing is exciting sport bikes.
Yes.
You know, sport bikes come out and it's like, well, damn, I wonder how much they've restricted this or restricted that. I mean, don't get me wrong, you can buy some of the bikes today. From what I understand, that V4 Ducati is just a monster.
Yeah.
They took the gentleman's agreement and went,
Yeah.
these guys adhere to the gentleman's agreement and still make a bike that's fun to ride.
Yep.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun. I like this. I just got back from Daytona, but to the best of my knowledge, the last bike that was on this dyno was Jixilla when Jeremy picked it up. If you want to look right here, this notch shows you where the center line of the axle used to be. So this bike's got another, from the looks of it, 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5 inches wheelbase compared to a GSXR 1000 that's been lowered.
Yes.
Yeah, so this thing is, and it's short.
I think it's 6/10 of an inch longer than a ZX10. So
Okay,
it's still a short bike.
a little over 1/2 inch longer than a ZX10. All right.
Straight back. You're taking the front one off, right?
Yeah, well, I am now. The SX is.
All the way back.
Well, that's pretty handy.
Yeah, and then back here it's got little
Back in the
snap
back.
ends. It's got a little rubber.
All right. So what I'm looking for is the service connectors. I'm going to try the OBD2. Oh. Uh-huh. All right, so that's going to require a different cable. They've changed things around. You have some type of little red cable here. I don't know where the diagnostic port is, so I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to consult the manual first, because if this is the diagnostic port, we're not going to be able to use this. No big deal, which just means we'll have to get to a spark plug wire, which looks like it might be really simple anyway. All right, guys, let me show you what we've done here. We can't get the OBD2 or diagnostic connection to work right now, so we're just going to keep it really, really simple. Come around here, we got to the #1 spark plug hole. I put the pickup on the black wire, and we do have a tax signal. Put this back on. That's one thing, Dan. One of the things I've noticed here lately is that, look at that, boom. Kawasaki is making a conscious effort, and I noticed this on the ZX10, the new ZX10. I used to really sort of bitch about how difficult it was to get to things, whereas the Suzukis, to me, have always been very simple. The Kawasaki's, usually the ZX14, they just make it, they made it tough. I don't know why. I've noticed lately, they are making an effort to really make sure that the bikes are easier to work on. That access right there is awesome. It seems simple enough, but when you've got to pull off half your body work to get to your battery or just underneath your seat, it's a real pain in the ass. So, got a little bit of storage room here. You can fit more than a ham sandwich, not quite a nitrous bottle. They'll have to work on that a little bit more. And then I want to show you something here. I just put together, you know us, data. We're going to keep this really simple, but I wanted to measure the torque. You have to have an RPM signal, so we've just got it really simple. We've got air-fuel ratio, we've got engine RPM, we've got the horsepower of the bike live and the torque of the bike live, and we'll get to all the other things that are going on later, but for now, these are the basics. This is what we care about. Let's see what we get. All right, guys, we've got it at full power with the K-track off. I'm gonna go all swami, and my guess is that as soon as we get rolling on the dyno here, the bike's gonna sense that the front wheel's stationary, the rear wheel's spinning, something's wrong, so the dash is gonna start blinking at us, and since we don't have a diagnostic reset in the ECU yet, we have to drive it all around to get it fixed. But anyway, it shouldn't affect power. It shouldn't, but we'll know here shortly. Let me get ready here.
I'm impressed.
Me too. Me too. All right, as usual, when stuff gets good, I get a little giggly. I'll tell you what, you can feel it. I can feel it. They eked some more power out of this bike in bone stock form. If you guys want to come up here and look, very consistent, 184 horsepower. Now it is cool in the dyno room, but it's not crazy outside, so we're not getting something like 650 EBS, 200, Disneyland numbers. These are for real numbers, 61 degrees, humidity, Yeah, humidity 30%. So these are legit. I like these numbers. 94 foot-pounds of torque. Now, I don't know if you were watching the power and the torque over here, but the bike climbed quickly.
Yes.
For a stock bike, it was climbing really quickly. It peaked at that 184, and then bam, the noise abatement comes in, the emissions comes in, and you can see, same old deal. I mean, it flattens out, and then it just starts tanking, nosing, until where when you're all the way at the red line, you've dropped down 40 horsepower. But that bike was going this way, right? That power curve was going. So what does this mean? Obviously, if the bike's 50 pounds lighter than some of the other bikes, that's a good thing. You can feel that acceleration. I'm going to go ahead and pull some things out of here. Let's go and compare to an H2SX SE, our original bike. So, going up the curve, this is with measuring torque, measuring everything. You can see the H2SX SE is going up also, but boy, it really tanks. Whereas the ZH2 at 11,300 RPM, 157 horsepower to 184. Now this is bone stock, stock for stock, and making 13 more foot-pounds of torque. Okay. The H2SX is a gentleman's cruiser, and in stock form, you know, who's looking for a ton of power? By the way, we made stupid power with that bike, but we haven't put that up on video yet. We're going to save that for a little bit later. So let's say we look at, well, what's a fast bike today? Maybe a ZX10, a new ZX10. I don't know what the weight difference between it would be. I would imagine this one's still a little bit heavier with the steel frame.
It will be with a supercharger.
Yeah, supercharger, steel frame. Let's go find. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this a single graph for now. The blue line is a stock ZX10, and as you can see, the supercharged version is just killing the ZX10 up until the ZX10 makes 171 horsepower to 184. But look at this. I mean, horsepower to horsepower, 103 to 136. And then the H2SX falls off. Let's just get him out of here. He's not in the conversation anymore. Yeah, so look at this. Here's your ZX10. Here's your ZH2. And then talk about torque. Let's just for giggles pick right here at 8,000 RPM. 67 foot-pounds of torque for the ZX10. 91 foot-pounds of torque for the ZH2. That's what we were feeling out there. That was a kick in the pants. And I guess the biggest difference is here, and you know, I'm a motorhead. You're a motorhead. We're both crazy about this stuff, right? The direction of both of these. Don't get me wrong, we get plenty of horsepower out of the ZX10. Mike Gear's bike is flying.
Absolutely.
Now we're talking about this. Yeah, this could get really, really interesting. The potential that this bike has, well, out of the box, it's a killer, right? But when we're finished, that's. Well, if you like to go fast, about the only thing we may need to look at is, and I like the cool little windscreen. We may have to actually put a little bit more windscreen on there because you're getting a lot of wind to the upper body. I didn't crawl into the paint or anything like that. I had my cool biker jacket on. I didn't want to scratch anything out. Boy, you put some clip-ons on this, a little windshield like maybe the old Katana, stretch it out. Oh, speaking of stretch it out, we hate big stock exhausts, but I mean, we love them. They're our bread and butter around here. But look at this. This is a dual-sided swing arm. So unlike the H2 and the H2SX, which are a genuine, expensive pain in the butt to extend, this bike, easy. I got a feeling that Kawasaki knew this wasn't going to be here for long. Unbolt that, get you some wheelbase underneath it. Easy to put on swing arm extensions now if you want to put an aftermarket swing arm on there. But the thing I think that's really going to make this bike popular is the entry price of an H2 and an H2SX. I mean, we're looking at
25 to 30.
Yeah, 25,000. If you get one of the carbons, they're 30,000. And this bike, 17,000. So the price to entry for the new ZH2, which the engine is based on the H2, and hell, they did a lot of the development with the H2R, right? So we know that the platform, the things are brutally reliable. You can make a ton of horsepower with them. We know the platform is good. So you can come in for 17K for a little bit of money, change the pipe. Imagine how much weight we're going to save with that. Change the pipe, tweak the ECU a little bit, change the gearing.
Yes.
We might end up
Two same size.
Yeah, with the front rear sprocket being the same size. But that's the other thing, you know, on the H2, it's a pain to get even the sprockets to where the bike's rideable. This is standard. This is a fantastic idea from Kawasaki.
Absolutely.
And it's going to be well, we'll let you guys watch. So it's going to be a killer. This is going to be an incredibly fun bike to ride and to race. Do both. Comfortable. Take a trip. Can you put bags on these?
I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah, I don't see anything quick there. It's not made for that. Throw on a backpack and go out.
Great.
And I really appreciate you getting this bike here to us. I'm excited. I want to get started. I want to see what we can do with this thing and come out, get her on the ground, get her sounding right, and the ECU is going to be it's going to be a challenge. They always are, but once we get it figured out, Don Gould's the best. We'll have a super smooth bike that is really going to haul ass. I mean,
it was fun.
Yeah, fun. Exactly. You don't want to change the wheelbase, knock the power level down, and go out and have a ball. So anyway, once again, pretty exclusive content coming from Brock's Performance. Dan, thank you. Hold on, virus. Yeah, our Corona bump there. So while you're sitting at home, can't go to work, got to watch your kids, watch what we're doing on this thing, and watch brocksperformance.com for new parts. If anything from the H2SX fits on this bike quickly, boom, it'll be for sale right away. And until then, like, subscribe, push the alarm button, and we will keep bringing you cool stuff, and we'll bring you updates on this. These are the good old days. I said it when the H2 came out. These are the good old days. We are living them right now. So if you're a performance fan or just a guy that wants a cool bike that's nice to ride, this is the place to be. Keep watching brocksperformance.com. Watch our YouTube channel. We'll keep you posted.